On that note, let's get back to our agenda. And next up, I'm going to pass everything along to Jon Stephenson. We're going to talk a little bit about the future of Live 365. So Jon, I will pass the screen sharing over to you.
All right, awesome. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Stephenson, CEO at Live365. Wherever you're listening in the world, we are really glad to have you here with us for today. And for the next couple of minutes, I want to show you what's next for Live365 and also take a look at collectively how we fit together in the audio space. But first, before we talk a little bit more about where we are going, I did want to take a quick moment and reflect on our journey for how we got to where we are today. So like many members of our community, I started broadcasting with a low power FM transmitter. Probably looks familiar to a couple of you. And eventually I actually took my radio station online to a service none other than Live365. And this was 2007. And back then Live365 was a powerhouse with millions of monthly active users and tens of thousands of radio stations. I've been signing up for the service with my mother's credit card. I knew there was definitely something special about it. And fast forward about a decade later, the original Live365 filed for bankruptcy and shuttered many independent webcasters. So at that point, basically, if you were a webcaster, you either had to try to put together a solution of your own, risk going pirate, or unfortunately, silence your station. Now, my background is in streaming audio, having founded Empire Streaming in 2010, which is part of our parent company, Media Creek. And today, Empire serves content to tens of millions of users across the world, basically each and every day, across many large broadcast groups and podcasters. We're able to leverage a lot of that scale and also bring it to Live365 and all the expertise along with it. So in 2016, when Live365 Incorporated filed for bankruptcy, we knew there was something special that was tied to Live365 and its heritage. And that ultimately was a sense of community. So over several months in 2016, our company was able to acquire the assets of Live365 out of bankruptcy. And in late 2016, we embarked on a mission in our journey to rebuild the platform from the ground up. And I had one goal in mind at that point, and that was basically to provide a compliant home for webcasters to stream their audio content on the internet. Today, I am happy to announce we are at 3,200 active stations on the Live365 platform, streaming from the United States, Canada, and United Kingdom. And now, almost 5 years later, our team is even more committed to continuing on our mission of creating tools for broadcasters and audio creators as a whole and getting their content into as many diverse listeners as possible. Next, I'm going to read a quick quote that is very powerful and resonates with Live365, and it is from Chris Anderson from the book, The Long Tail. And the quote goes like this: "Up until now, the focus has been on dozens of markets of millions instead of millions of markets of dozens." I'm going to reread that one more time. Up until now, the focus has been on dozens of markets of millions instead of millions of markets of dozens. And think about this as we go through the rest of the presentation. And that brings me to our mission. So the mission of Live365 and the mission behind our parent company is all around the world's audio, powering everything from the technology, distribution, monetization, listener acquisition, and rights management. And with Live365, we're specifically focused on the long tail of audio. So in the next couple of minutes, we're going to focus primarily on two things. One, some upcoming features of Live365 that we believe are going to be monumental to our company's success, our community, and also to the audio space as a whole. Second, we're also going to take a quick look at how Live365 fits collectively into the whole audio marketplace. So taking a look at a couple of our features for broadcasters, a couple of things that you're going to see in the next couple of months and through the end of the year is multi-track. So multi-track, as Justin, when he showed the feedback.live365 portal, is definitely one of our most requested features, and we are going to be bringing it to market very shortly. Multi-track basically will allow for syndicated content to be uploaded to our servers, and you'll be able to mark the metadata so we can properly track it for audience reporting, for royalty reporting, and ultimately display it to users that are actually listening to your live audio stream. Our second primary focus for broadcasters is working on access level controls for different users. So right now, the Live365 platform is very much tied to a single user account per station. And what we want to do and what we're going to do is open it up so you can have different levels of control and offer that to different people on the platform. That's going to increase collaboration and allow you to work in tandem with other users on the platform if you invite them to help create and curate your content. Our next is going to be a continued investment in robust playout. So we've definitely focused the past couple of months and we'll continue on focusing on stability and high availability of the platform. But even further, we're going to be delivering more control over stuff such as crossfades, replay gain, audio processing, and more. Our next, which is definitely a widely requested feature, is automating our crediting for revenue. So the ads that you're able to make money on through Live365's monetization efforts, we definitely understand the frustration with having to go and request a credit and have it applied and all of that. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with that. We really appreciate your patience, but that is going to be something that we are going to be focusing on automating and making it much more streamlined and much more automatic here in the coming months. Our next for broadcasters is focused on the audio delivery. So there's actually a couple parts that go into that. One is investing into some new protocols. So as many of you mentioned before, you want to hear AAC or different codecs and all of that to really enhance the audio quality and also provide a better user experience for your listeners, such as on like a mobile device. So we're going to be bringing that to particular packages where you can opt into a AAC playback on your station, as well as transcoding. And our last thing for broadcasters that we are committed to bringing is more in-depth audience analytics. So not only showing you where your users are coming from, but also maybe some level of intelligence. If a user, for example, disconnects during certain songs, you'll be able to sit there and start analyzing your audience, make better programming decisions, and continue looking at who's actually listening to your station and how they're actually listening to your station. For our next part about what we're going to talk about is for audience. So as mentioned, a large part of our focus is getting audio into the ears of as many people as possible. So as Matt mentioned, our partnership with iHeart, we're going to continue working on partnerships with larger aggregators and services, and that's going to actually be for as many stations as possible. Our next is going to be investing into our platform. So as Jason showed, the Live365 website, which is going to immensely help with SEO and getting new listeners to actually come to our platform and listen. But we're also going to be focusing on other things such as offering mobile apps, as Matt mentioned, and Alexa skills. And we're going to be working on bringing that out to allow any webcaster that's on the Live365 platform, regardless of the package size, the ability to also add that in the future. It's just going to take a little bit of time. We're also going to be focusing on developing features for interacting with your audience. So things such as, hey, I like this song, and giving you that kind of feedback so you can actually use it within your daily programming. That's going to be some stuff that we're investing on, and it's also going to help increase the total time spent listening. Overall, it's going to have a lot of benefit to both the broadcaster and the listener. And the other key thing that I want to make sure that we are highlighting is this audience focus is not just on our larger packages. It definitely takes some time. There's a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes, and it's going to take some time to roll out. And we do want to make sure that we are taking care of all of our packages, regardless of if it's somebody on Broadcast 1 package, all the way up to somebody that's on a Broadcast 5 or even a custom package that goes beyond that. So it's definitely something that we are absolutely focused on, and we are committed to getting Live365's diverse content into as many listeners as possible. And my next point that I want to talk about is something new that we're launching on Live365, and that is podcasting. So we know there's dozens of different podcast hosting platforms out there, and that's something that we know. We've analyzed them. We've taken a look at a number of different competitors. However, we believe with our long tail mission, coupled with our existing set of features and overlap with online radio, we can build something much more unique and much more robust than others. And we're going to do that in the next coming months here on Live365. And we're extremely excited to embark on this mission with you. And that leads me to my last point. So how do we fit into the market? And I say we collectively as the Live365 platform, our staff, our community, and our valued webcasters who passionately program content each and every day. And if you look at the graph, it kind of shows a very simplified version of how we kind of fit into the ecosystem. But clearly what's being shown here is that we're not trying to compete with the likes of Spotify or Pandora or iHeart. We believe we have something much more different to offer to users, and that's the diversity of content. We are not here going after millions of users trying to listen to mainstream content, but instead, together, we are focused on giving voices to those not heard on the larger platforms. Remember the long tail? We are Live365, and we are the world's audio. In closing, I do want to thank everybody for your support and continued trust in Live365. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up, and we're literally just at the cusp of something truly great. And honestly, we could not do it without you. And I do want to thank you personally for attending this year's Live365 Summit here on World Audio Day. And Justin, I will hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Great stuff. Before we jump into a QA, actually, I do want to do two last kind of update links that I want to show everybody, and then shameless plug. And then I know we have several questions that we can go ahead and take here. One thing I wanted to note to everyone is John had kind of mentioned one of the very important things about Live365 is the community aspect. We care greatly about our Live365 community of broadcasters. We can't build Live365 without the community, and it's kind of our passion every day of building tools to help this community grow. We do have several tools. I showed the forums a little earlier in the help.live365.com portal. I don't know, a lot of you already are in this, but we do have a Facebook group. It's the Live365 Broadcasters group. This is a private group for only Live365 broadcasters. You can join on there. All you have to do is click submit to join, and you can kind of join into our membership here. It's definitely a useful platform. Several members of our team are in there all the time, kind of helping talk through stuff with folks. The community is very strong. Several of you who are in this room today are very active in that group, being able to help each other. The goal ultimately there is for us all to help each other's stations get better, help us all learn, help us all grow together. So if you're not already a part of the Live365 Broadcasters group on Facebook, I definitely encourage everyone to do that. Last but not least, I wanted to make one note on featured stations. So we do have a process of featuring stations for all of your stations on our different social media platforms. As Jason had showed earlier in the day about how we have different curated genre tabs that will be released and with the new website release. Several of you already know we do features on our homepage right now. We will be expanding those features with the different genre pages into the new website. One of our goals is to be able to highlight, we have such great content, as Matt kind of alluded to it. You know, every day I think I find a new station, which is just awesome. As I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is fantastic. We need to get this to more and more people. And so we're trying to create new and better areas where we can curate this content, where we can help you guys get more exposure and really help show off such the great stations that everyone has. Part of this program, so to submit your station towards the genre, our team is curating that, but we're very helpful. You know, submitting your features can definitely help with that process. We do run featured stations, featured spotlight stations on our blog. So every week we highlight one of our featured stations. We take those stations, those end up coming on to all of our social media there. They get shared throughout the week. We do run ad campaigns behind your stations there. These are also the ones that will be plucked for the genre pages, for our home pages, for these different curated lists. These are always kind of our first go-tos there. So I definitely want to encourage everyone to submit their station to be featured. It definitely can't hurt. We do have, so if you're in any of our featured ones, if you're on the blog and you just happen to be on a spotlight station one, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll be able to kind of submit your features. You can see there's a featured spotlight submission form. You can also, if you search through our support desk and you submit, how do I submit my featured? You can see we have a nice link here. And then it just links to a Google form here. And that's where you'll be able to submit any of your info, your station name, some quick info about your account, what brought you to Live365, some other stuff that gets featured into the article. This is a great way to get exposure for your station and a great way to get your station into the listing for being able to be in part of those those genres listings and those other curated lists that we'll be doing more and more as we kind of we try to make Live365 a better platform, be able to help curate music and curate stations to our listeners to kind of help all of us grow in there. These being features is available for all packages. It doesn't matter if you're broadcast 1, broadcast 5, it's available for all folks to be featured. So I definitely encourage everyone to submit to this. And we're constantly looking for new and great stations that we can highlight. And so I definitely encourage everyone to search this out and then